And we're live.
Wow, that's scary.
Beef, what's up, buddy? How's it going, man?
What's up, pal? I figured that if we want to talk about some of these random ass things, you and I should just open up the StreamYard and talk for 15 or 20 minutes. And you and I both kind of been marinating a little bit on some stuff. And it's not something I wanted to squeeze into the podcast. Wouldn't fit anyway because it's gonna be done by then. So
yeah, and I think we could talk through this quicker than either of us could write a blog. So that makes sense. And the blog would be kind of boring. Without,
yeah, pretty much,
because it's not as fun to try and maneuver and Tetris around this type of thing in written form. So it's a little easier to get into it. So what we're going to talk about tonight is the 28-man roster, what that's going to look like opening day, and like what could go, which way, because you're only a 28-man roster for about a month.
Yep.
Then it's going to drop down to 26. So two guys are going to leave, most likely one hitter, one pitcher. I think, in fact, it has to be.
Okay.
Because I think you have to have that even. But I'm not sure.
And is that the way it's staying for the 28?
Well, I mean, even if it's not, it's the way the Sox are going to have to do it. There's a lack of flexibility here for the Sox. And we'll start with where they have more flexibility, which is in the pitching.
Okay.
So let's take a look at the pitching real quick, and we'll look at this is from Fangraphs. You can kind of see what it currently looks like. Yeah, Beef, I know you're loving Velasquez in there.
Oh, baby.
Starter.
I am.
That's
my guy. I mean, I predicted it before the season. I said, low cost guy, bring him in. And then the televised game on the weekend was when he got lit the fuck up. So everybody was upset. But he pitched okay tonight.
He did look okay, yeah.
And his first outing or his outing before that was decent as well. I mean, I trust the guy to be durable. I don't know. He may get lit up. He may find something here. So I kind of like it. This is why you brought the guy in. This is why you spent $3 million on a guy to patch the hole when you need it,
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be some combination of him and Raylo, unless they go out and get someone else. But the good thing here is that you look at this and there's a lot of guys that if you look in the options column, that means that they could be sent down to the minors without having to go through waivers. You could just send them down, option to the minors. There's a lot of guys here that have options available, so you can move them down. I think Jose Ruiz is probably the one who's a borderline roster guy that doesn't have options. But because Joe Kelly's hurt, because Garrett Crochet's out, because you traded Craig Kimbrell, because Lance Lynn is hurt, the guys that are kind of at the bottom here, as we get players coming back, those guys are all able to be optioned. So, Beef, is there anything on the pitching side that you think is going to be a surprise, or you think that like maybe they should move someone around, bring someone up?
No, not really. I think it's kind of set the way it is. It's interesting to see Kyle Crick on there because he's the only one that's not a 40-man. So he's a non-roster invitee. So they're going to have to clip out a 40-man person to be able to add him to the active roster. Now, I'm a long proponent, and you are too, Chorizy, that the 40-man has a lot of,
unnecessary people.
A little extra fat on the edges there.
But Beef, right now, I think we sit at 40. But I do not believe that Garrett Crochet is yet on the 60-day IL, which will open up a spot. You could also probably put Yermin on the 60-day IL. I believe he's still on the 40. And so either one of those would open up the space to put Crick on, and you should be fine.
Yeah, both of those would. I don't think there's any other compelling options as far as bullpen guys that are just kind of hanging around or have been sent down already. A lot of people were asking about Anderson Severino. I believe he's already been sent.
He was optioned today. Yeah,
AAA. So, I mean, he was kind of the only other fringy guy that that I thought might get a look in this spot. What's interesting though, you brought up Ruiz right away, and I was thinking about Jose Ruiz when I was walking from my car to work. I was thinking in this instance right here, where we're coming into this month where we're missing Lance Lynn, and it's where Kopech's not fully stretched on this stuff. I would ride the shit out of a Jose Ruiz for this period. This is his time to shine because there's going to be a lot of medium leverage opportunities in the middle of games. where you can use him for 2 innings and just push him to the max. And you're right, he has no options, so it's kind of like one of those, you can't dunk him down, but you can give him a fake IL stint and you could play that game all goddamn year by riding him hard.
Well, I think there's the other guys that you could move around though, right? Like, so you could bring Burr back and forth, you could bring Foster back and forth, and leave Ruiz there to just be in that role to take innings. And there's going to be innings. Like, and you think about like when you got guys that are, starters that are only going to go 3-4 innings, which is you're going to have kind of the back half of your rotation for the start of the year is going to be that.
Right.
So, I mean, there's got to be innings to eat, after Dallas Keuchel gives up 15 runs, someone's got to come in and pitch. Right. Like, so, I mean, that's going to be Ruiz.
In a way, like, when Lynn gets hurt, I was thinking about, it was funny. I was thinking about this also on the way to work. I was like, Lynn getting hurt right now is perfect. And the reason why it's perfect is because you have a lot of time to recover for this issue, right? And I was thinking about it from the standpoint of, how when a football team's down 15, you should go for 2 on that first touchdown. And the real reason why is an information advantage, right?
Because now you know what you got to do next time.
That's right. With the remaining time left, how you got to approach it. If you wait till that second one, it's too late. You're fucked. You can't do anything about it. That's what's happened with Lance Lynn. We got the touchdown down 15. We can go for 2, and we know what's going to happen now kind of going forward. We have the opportunity to okay, now we can patch this. If this should happen in August, this would be a total disaster. Like, this would be the worst thing ever for us. So, not that it's good, but I was kind of expecting, I thought he could be a premium pitcher at 400 pounds. Apparently not. The meniscus
I don't think so.
Barely holding up over 300 pounds. So not going to hold up over 400. So, I'm okay with it. I'm interested to see if they go with sort of a piggyback situation with Keuchel and Lopez or Vasquez and Lopez. If Lopez ends up being like a 6th starter and they kind of mess around that way, or like if he's just going to be a multi-inning reliever and they're just going to leave it at that.
So here's an interesting one, Beef. Who's going to start opening day at home? So, I mean, we know Giolito's the starter. It sounds like it's going to go Giolito, Cease, Kopech.
Yeah.
Are you giving Keuchel the home opener start?
I think they are, but what would be fun is give it to Reynaldo Lopez. That would be hilarious.
I like that.
He was at the beginning of the rebuild, right? So,
yeah.
The fans are fucking tired of Dallas Keuchel, man. See it, today, like, people were lining it up when they got who the starters were, and they're like, motherfucker, the home opener is Dallas Keuchel? Like, everyone's like, oh, figuring that's the case. Fuck it, man. Give it to Reynaldo Lopez. Make up some bullshit excuse and let Keuchel start on Saturday or not on Wednesday. Regardless. I would like to see that, but I think it's going to be Keuchel that's going to get this start. It's going to be John Danks-esque. I think Danks started the home opener in 2016 when he was totally cooked, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think it is going to be Keuchel. I'm not excited about that, but hey, maybe he just comes out and has a decent start, gets bridged to the bullpen, and then we see a win. That's all we could really root for.
Yeah, Tracy, how do you think they'll handle Keuchel going into the season? Because there's been some discussions here, and Tony seems more open about this whole, especially the back of the rotation, than I've ever heard him before. What do you think they're going to do with him? How are they going to handle him?
I don't think Keuchel sees a third time through the rotation, even if he's pitching well. Okay. Like, I don't see it. I don't think you put as many bullets into the bullpen as they did if they're not thinking like the back half of our rotation is not going very long into a game.
Right.
And I think that's what they built towards, right? They built that for Tony. They said, here's a bunch of arms and we're just going to give you these starting pitchers though. This is all you get.
Right.
You get this rotation. That's it. But
you figure it out. Here
we're giving you a bunch of stuff behind it. And I think that was the strategy. It seems like it. If they go out and get Johnny Cueto or Brett Anderson or something, I might think a little bit differently about that. Don't get J.A. Happ.
My guy.
I think he's cooked too. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I don't see them doing a lot to shore up the rotation. So I think they are telling Tony, like, work the bullpen. You got to figure it out.
No, Billy, we have not talked about our new.
We are about to get to the hitters though. So let's jump into the hitters, Beef. And so this is where it gets a little tricky.
Yeah.
So I mean, the starting lineup, you feel like it's set, but it's not.
It's not
because of the DH spot.
Exactly. That's
And so,
exactly the spot. Yep.
so here's where it gets weird. Now you look at this group, and they brought in Reese McGuire. Lot to say about Reese McGuire in the stands. We'll have a fun time with it. But the thing about it is they brought in a guy with no options.
Yeah.
Right. Which means they are saying this guy's on the roster. They wouldn't have done this had they not said, we want this defense on the roster. And that says goodbye to Sebi, right?
Yeah, correct.
Sebi's getting DFA'd.
He'll be DFA'd. I think he could pass through. Though.
He will.
I think he can end up back in Charlotte. I don't think they'll lose him. We'll see. You never know. Some sneaky team that's not trying might say, you know what, we'll take this guy and just see if we could continue to develop the defensive skills and use him to wear out a backup catcher spot for a while. But I think he sneaks through. I think he'll make it.
So, and this is why you're going to do that, is because in order to roster the team you need for opening day, what's up on the screen is not enough. Because if you put this team out there opening day, Tim Anderson suspended.
Yeah.
So Lurie's going to play short.
It'll be
more than likely.
Yeah.
And then you'd have no backup infielders.
Not a single one on the
So roster. I mean, I think they technically say that like Andrew Vaughn could play like no. So
right, exactly.
So with sending Romy down, you're keeping Mendick on the roster.
What it sounds like. And I'm not a fan of this. And I would have kept Romy on this roster. I think he's got more utility. I think he's just a better player for one. But one thing I was thinking about, Chorizy, is the roster in particular. You know, you think about, okay, well, who'd be better? Romy's got speed and everything and versatility, can play all these spots, and he's just a better hitter than Mendick. But I don't think this is a roster that has a lot of pinch running opportunities on it. I mean,
no.
Grandal potentially, and then whoever is DHing. Other than that, this team, even like Jose Abreu is a pretty good base runner. Eloy Jimenez is above average runner. Like they aren't going to be in the spot where you need, you know, if you had Billy Hamilton, use Billy Hamilton for those spots, but you probably only need one pinch runner guy on the bench. And at any point that's going to be Engel or Lurie or somebody, depending on how it shakes out each day. So, or AJ Pollock maybe even. So maybe it's not that bad that they're sending Romy down and letting him develop at AAA, letting him get regular bats and telling Danny Mendick, look, enjoy your league minimum paycheck for as long as you can get it here. You know, I don't know. Maybe that's the approach, but I don't really enjoy seeing Danny Mendick out there.
Yeah, and I don't know how long it's going to stick. The other piece here, though, is Mike Rodolfo. So, like,
yes,
he is out of options. He's a player that's out of options. I assume they have tried to trade him. I'm sure. I mean, I've seen him in every trade rumor that any of us have put out there. Any of us Sox fans have put out there. He's traded every time.
He's the cornerstone of every trade because we can't keep him. That's right.
But the problem here is, how far are you willing to go to keep Mike Rodolfo on the roster? Right? Because what you have to start looking at, if you don't want to have Mike Rodolfo on this or if you want to keep Mike Rodolfo on this roster, you don't want to DFA him. You think that someone will pick him up on waiver wire. You have to look and say, well, that means either Gavin Sheets or Andrew Vaughn is probably spending the beginning of the season in the minor leagues.
Right.
And so, you know, I'm not a big, you've got to win every game in April guy, but the games do count, man. Like, and you can't just discount your division and say like, it doesn't, we're going to kick the shit out of this division, so don't worry about it. Like, you have to think about, what are you going to do this month? And if you're saying I'm going to put Sheets or Vaughn down, are you really okay with that when it comes to, I need a bat in the 7th or 8th inning and I've got Mike Rodolfo instead of Andrew Vaughn?
Right. Right. Yeah.
Now, I mean, Mike Rodolfo, when he actually touches the ball with the bat, it goes far. Like, he hits it hard but it looks like almost every at bat he's carrying a 70-pound bat. Like, it's good when it hits. It's bad when he misses wildly.
Which is a lot. Which is
a lot of the time. Which is like 40% of the time.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I mean, I was going to ask you like what percentage you thought Andrew Vaughn would go to the minors. I'd be surprised if they sent Gavin Sheets down, only because of his general utility as being one of the few left-handed bats here. It brings you to a weird spot looking at that DH situation kind of on a daily basis. You'd like to have Andrew Vaughn playing every day because you want to unlock, the top 3 pick, consensus top 10 potential that Andrew Vaughn has. And last year was a weird situation. It wasn't quite optimal for him. And I'm not making excuses for him. I said it in the beginning that I thought he would struggle, and he struggled. And everyone was naysaying us. No. This is the best bat. It's a natural bat and all that stuff. And he stunk last year. I mean, he had a 1 month that was good, and then the rest of it wasn't good. I would be surprised if they pushed him that hard last year. Like, I think it's totally defensible to send Andrew Vaughn to AAA. Let him hit for a month, 6 weeks, wait until we really need that bat all the time in here and do it. But the way they acted last year would put them in a weird spot saying, oh, you know what? We needed you last year. Fuck you now. You're out of here.
Yeah.
We're going to have Rodolfo up here.
I think that Vaughn is going to DH most days. I think that Sheets is going to get the tough right-handers. Yeah. Like if you're getting top of the rotation, like a 1 or 2 from a good rotation that's right-handed, you're going to see Sheets. I think that's where he's going to play. But like an average right-handed pitcher, they're not going to shy away from putting Vaughn in the DH role for that. And I think that that's what it's going to be. It is going to be the kind of the reason that they say we're willing to let Rodolfo pass through waivers. And if we get him back, great. If not, we gave him every chance to try and be on this team.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I just don't think he's a caliber to be on this squad. Like if you had punted right field completely and your thought was we have one hole in the lineup and we're going to let him work it out and try it and you'll let him play him every day, great. But him batting once a week, he already strikes out too much. Like that would be a disaster for that guy,
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be scouring the relievers of other teams that are out of options and saying, does Mike Rodolfo fit with this team? Right? Like, could we send him to like a Padres where they're just dying for any outfield power? When they've got Jurix and Profar starting in the outfield to start the year. Like, so could that be, that is the phone calls Rick Hahn is making right now. Unfortunately, he's not calling Johnny Cueto on his ranch for you guys. He is instead calling around going, does anyone need an outfielder? And may I have a left-handed reliever in return? Because mine got knocked around by Nick Madrigal today.
And I mean, maybe we should have some faith, right? Not only the Kimbrel thing, but the fact that he turned water into wine with Zach Collins. I mean, I know there's a little masturbatory problem with Reese McGuire. I'm not one to hold that against him. I don't kink shame. Okay. There's no kink shaming on this show. I'm not a guy who goes to the dollar store parking lot and, enjoys myself as much as he did. MSS likes the dollar store. I don't know if there's
maybe they've seen each other.
There could be some synergies here. I'm unaware of. But the fact that he was able to turn Zach Collins into a productive player for this team, maybe he could turn Rodolfo into someone that's usable on this current roster. And I'm guessing, Chorizy, that's why nothing has happened with Rodolfo. He's still stands, and he'll be there until the ass end, until the very end to see what they can do.
He will be there until they have to shift Timmy to being suspended and bring up Mendick and put Mendick on the roster. That's the move when Rodolfo goes. So like, I think that he's enough of a talent that he's worth like a bottom of the pen.
Yeah, guy. like someone else's Jose Ruiz. But a bad team's Jose Ruiz. So it's like, okay, we don't really want to cut this guy. He's out of options, but we'll take that guy and see if we can turn him into a right fielder that you got there. We're not sure. He might strike out 40% of the time, but let's just make this exchange and see what's up. And the Sox could use any live arm, basically. You're right. Just throw any live arm back there. And okay, we're going to give you whatever innings these are. There's going to be a lot of them. And I said this before. I don't even know if I trust Giolito to come out of the gate with his top stuff because of the body change. he's gotten so much bigger, and it's like sometimes I think it takes some time, the balance and everything, to get that all right. So the only starter that I trust really coming out of the gate here is Cease, and he might walk the whole fucking ballpark. So you don't know how many innings you're going to need out of this bullpen, you know?
Right, and I mean that's one of the nice things about having the extra guy, right? Like having the extra pitcher and having the extra fielder.
Yes, Chorizy's beard is beautiful and majestic, and smells tremendous.
It's
very good smelling beard.
I didn't oil it today, so it doesn't smell as great, you know. But I didn't really leave the house except for to get wings.
That's a quality move right there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the extra guy is going to be key, and I mean, we're already seeing it is in the fact that, you know, we've got a number 5 spot that's going to go 3 innings max, right? You're not going to let either of the possibilities that the 5 starter get through, you know, the order multiple times. I don't think Vince Velasquez has gotten through an order multiple times for like 5 years, so it's.
In the one spring training game, they hit him around and they pulled him out in the 2nd inning, and then they put him back into the 3rd inning. That's what I love about spring training. I don't know what's happening. They just put a guy right back in. They face some more batters. I don't even know how deep Kopech can go into these games at this point, Chorizy. That's the problem.
Yeah, he hasn't had a lot of ramp up either.
Yeah, from 3 to 5, you don't know. I mean, you're looking at 5 innings max out of these guys. So you're going to have to really queue up some bullpen innings for these squads. And it's not, they're not playing any pushovers, right? I mean, like Detroit, they have the good starters going against, and Detroit's up and coming. But then Seattle is a good team that's going to come here middle of the week. And then on the weekend, you got Tampa, and Tampa is a very good team. So it's not, you got no pushovers to start this thing. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for the pitching.
I agree. It's not the ideal way to start the season. The ideal way to start the season would have actual spring training and for Lance Lynn's knees to get through it. But yeah, we're in a spot right now, so it's going to be a rough start to the season. But you know what, Beef? I'm looking at it, and the hitting, though, I feel like the hitting, you could go give up 8 runs, and I'm going to still be sitting behind the foul pole, thinking we got a chance.
I totally agree. Can you put the graphic back up of the hitters, Chorizy?
Yeah.
Just for a second there. So, I mean, looking at that board, you definitely, I mean, the whole starting lineup right there has the potential to be above average hitters. Josh Harrison, that might be close. Vaughn will probably be an above average hitter. Adam Engel might be an above average. You might have 11 above average hitters on the roster.
That's insanity. You have 9 guys that should actually hit about 20 home runs or more.
It's wild. Yes.
That's I don't think that's a reach. Like, I'm not saying something crazy here, but like the fact that Josh Harrison is at the very bottom of this order,
right. Yeah,
and you're gonna have to throw good pitches to Josh. See, that's the thing. Having to throw good pitches to Josh Harrison is bad because
right, he makes a lot of contact. You know,
he can get hits. Like he's the kind of guy that if you're not throwing him a lot of off-speed stuff, you're not trying to trick him, like he could hit 300.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
So I don't know. I'm just very excited to see this. I'm anxious about watching AJ Pollock every day, though, Beef.
I am too. I think
like it's just like I'm so worried about him getting hurt.
Yeah, they're going to be careful with him. I think they're going to on the onset. They're going to be careful with him, and I bet you're going to see a couple days in right field, a day in left field, a day at DH. You're going to see kind of he'll move a little bit, and they'll rest him appropriately. He's 34 years old. I mean, like everyone's looking at the last 2 years with the Dodgers, like guy's hitting the daylights out of the ball. I wouldn't expect that. He should still be a good hitter, but I wouldn't expect that shit. Like, don't assume he's that. And plus, the Dodgers willfully traded him to you. If they thought he was still going to be as good as that, they're not giving him to you for this. You know, like, so there's a little, the buyer knows a little more, but he should still be fine. They'll move him around. They'll flex him out. And I trust Tony to get appropriate plate appearances for all these guys. Now, if they do keep Vaughn on the roster, I'm not positive it will please everybody because he's going to sit Vaughn against tough righties, like you were mentioning.
Yeah, absolutely.
He is going to optimize winning over optimizing Vaughn's development, and too fucking bad. This is a team that's trying to win a championship right now. I want Andrew Vaughn to become great, but you got to winning first.
There's no fucking around here. There's no fucking around.
Exactly.
And And honestly, though, Vaughn is also going to be there because if you are coming down to the bottom of that order and you've got Sheets in the lineup and they bring in a lefty, that lefty's facing Vaughn.
Yes,
that's 100% happening. We're
for sure.
Sheets is not going to face a left-handed hitter for the foreseeable future.
That's right. His lefty on lefty hitting will completely atrophy because he will not be allowed to do it.
Yeah, I can't imagine the scenario where a lefty reliever comes in to face Gavin Sheets and Tony leaves it. He'd have to be asleep. He'd have to actually be asleep.
I can't wait till it happens 8 times in the first 2 weeks.
Oh my God. I'll be like Randy Quaid in Major League 2.
That's great.
I can't believe I just made that reference.
You got the beard, so it works perfect.
I've got the beard and the insanity. It's a perfect match. All right, Beef. I mean, it's almost time for the game to start. So I'm sure
that neither one of us are going to watch.
I'm sure people want to go bet on that over at PointsBet. Promo
right.
code 1080. Go get that done, and then go get your bet in, and then watch that game. And we'll probably talk to you tomorrow. We're thinking about doing a few of these this week.
Yeah, for sure.
So we will talk to you guys soon. Thanks for hanging out. Talk to you later.